Extreme weather events have affected millions of Canadians. Firefighters are already preparing for more of this as a result of climate change.
But we're really focusing in on the weather piece and as well as the fuels piece and really trying to understand how that's changing over time.
In June, Lytton, BC recorded the hottest temperature ever in Canada, 49.6 degrees Celsius. The next day, the village burned to the ground.
And we're at the spear point of climate change, but it's coming for everybody.
Almost 600 British Columbians died during June's heat wave, including 91-year-old Annie Brown. Her apartment didn't have air conditioning.
If we had been planned better, I know that she would still be here with us right now.
On the prairies, heat, drought, and grasshoppers have ravaged crops and pastures.
You can't make it rain.
The north warming at more than twice the rate of the rest of the world. Arctic sea ice at its lowest level since 1850. Seawater levels rising. None of this a surprise to Indigenous people who've been sounding the alarm for years.
The Arctic also has great significance to the rest of the world. It is the cooling system for the planet. It is the air conditioner for the planet.
In the Rockies, glaciers are melting faster than ever recorded.
The Athabasca Glacier that many Canadians have visited in Jasper Park was melting 2/3 of a meter per week downwards, and so that's a tremendous loss of ice.
Mountain snow and ice melt caused unprecedented flooding in Whitehorse, something parts of Ontario, Quebec, and the Atlantic region are also familiar with.
This is not a partisan issue. This is a science issue.
The federal minister is defending the Liberal government's commitments, which include carbon pricing and a pledge to cut greenhouse gas emissions.
Let's figure out, working together between provinces, territories, the federal government, Indigenous leaders, and municipalities, how we can move forward.
Scientists say this crisis has been caused by human action, and it will require bold action to reverse it. In the meantime, no part of this country will be spared. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Vancouver.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the climate report must, quote, sound a death knell for coal and fossil fuels. But today, Alberta's premier pushed back, calling that a utopian notion.
If you're to shut off our dependence on hydrocarbon energy in a cold northern economy like this, the cost to human life would be incalculable. We need energy to live normal lives.
He said the challenge instead is to reduce emissions. Canada has pledged to phase out coal-fired electricity by 2030. Let's go to CBC News meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff for a look at the impact this report is having. And Joe, I know you've been following the reaction among climate scientists. What are you hearing?
Well, Ian, the scientific community not surprised when it comes to the content of the report. It's basically a culmination of the last 8 years of climate science, and we know that the impacts of climate change are happening faster and faster than we first thought. In fact, many climate scientists pointing to the situation across Western Canada, the heat dome, the drought conditions, and the wildfires that we're seeing this summer as a microcosm for the changes that we can expect to happen at rapid pace over the next few decades. The silver lining, though, I think climate scientists pleased that the report really highlighted that there's still time to avoid the worst tipping points, things like collapsing ice sheets, collapsing ocean circulation. Those can still be avoided. And I think scientists glad that it ended on a positive note rather than despair.
And speaking of this summer of extreme weather, more hot weather on the way here in British Columbia.
That's right. As you know, we had a cool weekend here in Vancouver, the first rain in 52 days. That is all we're getting across southern BC. Another big heat dome, not quite as big as the end of June heat dome. We're still talking 15-degree above seasonal temperatures on the way for mid to end of the week. That's going to ramp up wildfire conditions as we head into Friday and Saturday. And Ian, here in Vancouver, we could be talking mid-40 humidex values. I'll be following this one closely.
Wow. Thanks, Johanna.
You're welcome.